Hi everyone, this is Mrs. Van Horn and this is a video recording of showing that shows you how to complete the worksheet from homework B from week 2 of IM1 lesson. So I am going to get you started. So the worksheet that you need to complete is this two-sided worksheet. It looks like this. This is the top part. Moving forward, there are 6 problems on the first page, and then there are 6 more problems on the second page. You need to complete those, but I am going to demonstrate the first 2 problems for you to get you started, and it will give you an idea as to how am I supposed to be doing this. Okay, so the first one is going to be example 1. And this is where we're given a graph, inequality graph, and then you're trying to come up with inequalities statement. Okay, so we know how to go from inequality statement to the graph. Now, hopefully you've watched the video that was on the homework Google Doc that explains how you're supposed to do this so that you have a good idea as to how you are supposed to do this. Okay, so when you see a graph, remember we have to think of it like first we need to determine this line. Okay, so we're looking at this line. What is the slope? In order to figure out what the slope is, I need to be thinking about a slope triangle. So in order to do that, I need to find the triangle where it goes through the square itself. Okay, so then maybe I can choose this point here and then this point here, and this is going to be my slope triangle. So that's my slope triangle. And now is this slope positive or negative slope? Is remember pop positive, pop positive, pop positive, nice negative. This is 0 fun and undefined. Remember slope dude? So this is going to be a negative slope. This is nice negative. Okay, if I was going down the slope, this will be nice and fun. Okay, M is rise over run. Rise is rise over run. Rise is how much it's changing vertically. Run is the horizontal. So that's going to be 1 over 3. 1 over 3, and it's going to be negative. Great. So then what is B? B, remember, is the y-intercept. So y-intercept, where is the line crossing? So you start from at the top, where is the graph crossing? The y-axis is crossing right here, and that's going to be a positive 1. So that's where it's crossing. And now we can put the equation together with the slope of negative a third plus b of 1. So that's going to be y is mx plus b. So y is negative 1/3 x, don't forget your x, plus b, which is 1. Okay, now we have to think about this line. Is this a solid line or dotted line? Well, looks like a solid line, so I know that it's going to be either, because it's a solid line, I know it's going to be one of these. It's a solid line. So this is solid line. Okay, so I know it's either going to be less than or equal to or greater than or equal to because this is a solid line. Now we have to think about, is the shaded part above this line or below this line? Is the shaded part above this line or below this line? And it is obviously above. Okay, so because this is above, okay, so that means if it's above, then y is above means y is greater than or equal to. Remember, we only have these 2 choices. This is less than or equal to, that means below. Greater than equal to, it means above. So this is going to be my inequality. So I am going to write that down now. Y is greater than or equal to a third x plus 1. So this is where I got the equation. Now I am using the inequality that I just figured out. Then I need to make sure this is correct. So I check with 0, 0 by substituting it in. Okay, so that means if, look at the 0, 0. Is this part of the shaded region? No, it's not. 0, 0 is origin is right here. It's not shaded here. That means when I substitute that in, it should result in false statement. So I am going to write should result in false statement because 0, 0, that's the origin, is not part of the shaded region. So when I substitute 0, 0 into the inequality that I think is correct, it should come to false statement. So let's just check that. So 0, so for y is going to be 0 is greater than or equal to negative a third times x, negative a third times x, anything times 0. So this is going to be 0 because that's my x value is 0 here. That's going to be 0 plus 1. That's just going to be 1. Is 0 greater than or equal to 1? Is this true? No, this is false. Because 1 is greater than 0. 1 is a bigger number than 0. Okay, so this is false, and this is what we're expecting, and we got that, so that means this has to be correct inequality. Okay, let's try another problem. Let's do example 2. So now again, we have to look at this line. Is this a positive slope or a negative slope? Okay, so in order to consider this, we need to look at the line and the slope. So let's see, what can we use as a slope triangle? I see these 2 points going through. And so I know that this is puff positive, so this is going to be positive slope. And then I know that the rise is 2 and run is 1. So m is 2 over 1 or same as just 2. And what about b? B is where the graph crosses the y-axis. It's right here. So that's b is negative 1. So b is negative 1. So then the equation for this line is y is equal to 2x minus 1. Now we look at the line itself. Is it shaded? No, I'm sorry. Is it dotted or solid? Okay, so this is a dotted line. So that means we are dealing with either less than or greater than. It's not less than or equal to or greater than or equal to. It has to be less than or greater than. Now we need to be thinking about, is the shaded part above the line or below the line? Is it above the line? So this is, the shaded part is actually above this line. So it's going to be above. That means y is bigger than, y is bigger. So we want greater than sign, which is this one. So we figured out the inequality. Now we substitute that into the equation we have. Y is bigger or greater than 2x minus 1. Okay, so then we have to think about the origin. Okay, so is the origin, we're going to check, is the origin part of the shaded region? Yes, it is. So when we substitute 0, 0 to the inequality, we would expect to get true statement. So expect true statement because 0, 0 is part of the shaded region. Okay, now let's check that. So if I plug in 0, so let's just actually write it here. 0 is greater than 2 times 0 minus 1. Okay, that's 2 times 0 is really same as 0 minus 1. So we are left with 0 is greater than negative 1. Is this true? Yes, it is, because 0 is more positive. So that's true. And we were expecting this. So that makes it, that means that this, my inequality, is indeed correct. Okay, so I've done the first 2 problems for you. So you just need to do the next 10 problems. You go through the same process as I've just done. You do not need to write this explanation. Okay, I wrote this down so that you understand why we are doing what we are doing, but you do not need to write this. But you do need to fill in all the empty spaces and circle the appropriate things to help you work out what your final inequality is. Okay, I hope this was helpful, and your worksheet should have this already filled out for you. And if you do not have a printer, that's okay. You just need to make sure you fill in all these details and make sure you number it clearly so that I can tell which inequality goes with what. Okay, thanks for listening. Good luck with the homework. Bye-bye.